here we go. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Blitzburgh Coverage Podcast, episode number 2 with your boy, K-Mac, a.k.a. the host of this whole thing. Kurt Mackey is the name. Sports is my game. Pittsburgh and Steelers is my game. Welcome back, everyone. Happy Wednesday. It's been about a month since we recorded our first one. Just finally got that uploaded to all the platforms that I wanted to put that on. But gonna change up things today. As you see, I'm repping 2-4 Ike Swag and U Taylor. Hard to find this jersey. It's a little big on me, but it's all right. You know, when it's in the fall, you like to layer up a little bit, especially at the games. But for today's episode, we're going to do things a little bit differently, as the last time was really just introductions, and we just touched on the AFC North division, where today we're going to be kind of all over the place, as a lot of stuff has happened over the past month. Training camp, injuries, auditions, many things have happened, and we actually have, some football happened last week, Thursday night, Hall of Fame game, which is irrelevant to us, but still good to see this thing's coming back, y'all. We got less than a month, fingers crossed, everything's cool, no injuries. Unfortunately, there has been, as that is part of this game that we all love and thrive to watch. So, let's dive right into this thing, Today, we're going to be talking about my thoughts on the Alex Highsmith contract extension. We're going to be talking about the Steelers' first depth chart, just my thoughts on that, and just things I'm looking forward to watching as far as that goes, the whole development of that whole situation. Steelers preseason Week 1 preview versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Friday night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. We're also going to touch on a former third-round pick lineman, quote-unquote bust, being played over at fullback. Just some thoughts on that. And we're also going to touch on a very unfortunate injury that we suffered, as one of our draft picks went down with an injury. And it's a big blow. So let's start off with the top of this thing. The Alex Highsmith extension. Got my notes right here just to keep me on track so we don't get off the rails here. A lot of people were on the fine line of should we extend him, should we not extend him. I definitely thought it was the right move to extend the guy. I mean, every year he's played, he's gotten better. The stats show that. I mean, we go back, 2020 draft, he was a third-round selection out of Charlotte. A player with a lot of potential, just needed some development really in his game. He has a nasty spin move. He's really gotten better at setting the edge. When we look back at year 1, he didn't really get to play a whole lot of snaps because he was mainly a third outside linebacker, just a guy to sub in for TJ and Bud Dupree. But after Dupree suffered that torn ACL against the Baltimore Ravens in that Thanksgiving game, which got pushed back to that post-Wednesday, which just caused so much, it just caused so much commotion. He became the starter there full-time for Bud Dupree on the right outside, opposite of TJ. And, definitely showed some flashes, but only had 2 sacks to speak of. Didn't really get a whole lot of snaps, as I mentioned before, as he was just the third outside linebacker there. So, showed some flashes year 1, but didn't really, like most rookies, just you're playing against left tackles. Left tackles are some of the best premier linemen in the league. They block the blind side, so more times than not, there's better left tackles than right tackles. So this dude was playing against some very good linemen as a rookie. Now we slide into year 2, 2021. This dude is the starter, but Dupree's gone, and he gets 6 sacks. Definitely develops better at setting the edge as far as defending the run, playing his gaps, maintaining his gap control on the outside. Thought he was pretty solid. Showed some flashes again. But a little bit left to be desired. Now, as we head into this year, my apologies. It's a little toasty, so gotta keep your water, man. I like to have a gallon of water, ice cold, just keep it on me especially whenever we're talking big talk like this. So let's get to this year 3 of Alex Highsmith, which was this past season, 2022, in which absolutely blew up. 14.5 sacks, 5 forced fumbles, though I thought it was 4.5, and he was actually tied for first in the league, but none. Regardless, top 10 in sacks, top 6, I think top 6, and about 5 forced fumbles. So, and when you consider the fact that he got production with and without TJ Watt there, considering TJ missed the first 8, he played week 1, but he didn't come back till after that bye week against the Saints. So TJ missed half the season. We'll just go with that, right? 8, 7-ish games, whatever. Alex Highsmith definitely, stepped his game up. He still had Cam there, so. But Alex Highsmith, I definitely thought stepped up big time this year. His play definitely was big, and I'm really happy we signed him to kind of have a Batman and Robin duo here. TJ, best defensive player in the game, no question. Alex Highsmith is rising through the ranks. And this gives me big time James Harrison, Lamar Woodley vibes back when we had those two, If you're a Steelers fan, which most of us are here, come on. You remember how those two were, man. Those two were a problem. And I'm glad we extended Alex Highsmith. Though I hope, if y'all remember with Lamar Woodley, after he got that contract, this man constantly stayed hurt, had a lot of hamstring issues. And so Alex Highsmith has been honestly pretty reliable. I don't really remember him missing any games like that. So I definitely think this is a big move for this defense and a very underrated move, as not a lot of people know a lot about Alex Highsmith. People always say, well, who's there besides TJ Watt? I'm like, Alex Highsmith. Remember the name. Watch the tape last year. And I definitely think he'll probably have another solid season. I don't know if he'll get 14.5 sacks there if TJ stays healthy. I like him to probably get 10. I like him to at least get 10. If I'm doing over-under, I'm putting the over on 10. 9, it would be a little disappointing. Just depends really on how well everyone else steps their game up, because if we're talking dudes with, multiple guys with 8+ sacks, which I don't think is going to happen, I definitely expect Alex Highsmith, TJ, and Cam Hayward to get 10+ sacks easily. I think TJ has a good chance of breaking that record if he stays healthy, but that's another topic that's another conversation for another day. So, Alex Highsmith with a big extension here with Pittsburgh, 4 years, $68 million, $17 million guaranteed. And, people are going to say, well, why do you have so much money invested in one position? You need a pass rush, right? If we're going to be playing against these top quarterbacks and the AFC, let alone our division, you got to get after the quarterback. Prior to this past season, we led the league in sacks, I want to say 4 years in a row. But, TJ goes down, and then that just kind of goes out the window. So, I liked the move, and I think everyone should like this move. He's a solid player, and he's a great compliment to TJ. So, I'm with it. So, let's dive into our next topic here, where the Pittsburgh Steelers released their first depth chart of this very young preseason, offseason, whatever you want to call it, this transition we're in. Some big things that caught my eye and things I'm going to be really tracking are Dan Moore Jr. was listed as the starting left tackle over Broderick Jones. A lot of people were surprised. I wasn't so much surprised. I would like to see Broderick Jones in there starting, though I'm concerned about I mean, we traded up for him, so do you throw him to the fire, or do you just kind of let, do you just, time's your friend here? Do you let him just kind of develop there and, just let him watch, let him chill, or do you throw him to the fire? I think at some point during the season he will become the starter, and they actually potentially might move Dan Moore Jr. over to right tackle at some point over Chukuma Okorafor. But that remains to be seen. Broderick Jones will be a starter eventually. We all know that. It's a matter of when. So I'm definitely going to keep my eye on that. And when you look at the first 3 games, we play against some of the best edge rushers in the National Football League. You're talking about week 1, Nick Bosa, and then if they run stunts, you're talking about Javon Hargrave coming out there as well. So that pass rush is nasty. That's going to be a big test week 1. Then week 2 at home against Cleveland, Monday Night Football, Myles Garrett. As much crap as I talk about him, he is a good player. I don't doubt that. I feel immensely disrespected when people put this guy over TJ Watt. It's like, are we watching the same player here, the player comparison here, or whatever? But anyways, Myles Garrett there in week 2, as well as Zadarius Smith, who was a free agent addition to their squad. And then you look at week 3, Sunday Night Football at Las Vegas Raiders. Max Crosby, who is vastly underrated. He's a great edge player. He's really been their only source of the pass rush the past couple of years, ever since they let go of Khalil Mack. He's no slouch, so, do you just go with the solid? I mean, Dan Moore Jr. is very hit or miss, I feel like. Sometimes he's good, sometimes he just doesn't even get his hands on the pass rushers sometimes. So do you just go with the veteran presence there for the first couple of weeks and not ruin the young rookie's confidence there? Or, interesting to see what Tomlin does there. Another position that caught my eye was the inside linebacker situation. So we're talking about, a few weeks ago, we're talking about Cole Holcomb, Landon Roberts, Nick Kwiatkowski, I don't remember to say his name. And they also made a low-key free agent addition with Quan Alexander, who was a Jets starter last year. Player with a lot of potential, just honestly had a lot of bad injuries. There. He was pretty good in San Fran, athletic, can do a little bit of everything. So I really like that addition. I'm curious to see how this inside linebacker position is just gonna play out here. Are they gonna find designated roles for these dudes? Are they gonna just have 2 on the field at all times? Are they gonna put I'm very curious to see how this is all gonna play out, because I feel like we have more run stoppers than we do have pass coverage guys. Though I feel like Quan Alexander can do a little bit of everything, so maybe we'll leave him on the field. But when it comes to that base 3-4 package, I'm going to be curious to see who's going to be the bigs in there. Is it going to be Cole Holcomb and Quan? Is it going to be Landon Roberts and Quan, or Landon Roberts and Cole? So we added a lot of competition there. And I'm going to be very curious to see how that plays out. Which brings me to our next position area. We're going to go to the secondary here, just all in general. As the starting outside cornerbacks at this moment are Patrick Peterson and Levi Wallace. And then we have Shandon Sullivan, I believe is his name, who was a Minnesota corner, and they're starting in the slot. So I'm going to be curious, because I know Joey Porter Jr. is going to be starting. There's just no question there. I'm curious when they're going to make that move. And are they going to slide Patrick Peterson there into that slot type of role? I thought that's what we were going to do, but I guess not. Well, then again, with these initial depth charts, you can't look too much into them. They probably just wrote them out and said, just release it. Just throw it out there. So I'm very curious to see who's going to be the starting strong safety. My apologies. Is it going to be Keanu Neal or Damontae Kazee? Kazee's been hurt for a minute, so that sucks. But I'm very curious to see when Porter Jr. is going to get in there and what's going to happen to Patrick Peterson, because we know Levi Wallace is going to be one of our starting corners, no question about that. So definitely keep my eye on that throughout this preseason process. And a big thing that I liked that caught my eye was the fact that Calvin Austin III is our returner for both positions, kick returner and punt returner. And I'm all for it. Originally last year was Gunnar Olszewski. I think was our returner for, I want to say, most of the year. I think the whole year he was. Yeah, Gunnar Olszewski was our returner. Didn't really offer much. Just maybe got 6 yards. But Calvin Austin III, another receiver that's getting slept on here in Pittsburgh, a former 4th-round selection out of Memphis. Speed Demon. I wonder what his role is going to be this year. I know what they're thinking. I know what Matt Canada's thinking. Jet sweeps all the way with this dude. But I am going to be very curious to see if he holds on to that job. You know, can he catch the ball and run? Can he, you know, get an average of 10 yards? Just get 10 yards, 8. You know, don't force nothing. Don't run backwards. You know, just get what you can get. Curious to see if he holds on to that ball, if he's got butterfingers, or... I'm glad he's our returner, because I don't know what else he'd really do at this point. So I think that's about it for really the my thoughts on the depth chart. So now we can finally get to our first game, y'all. First freaking game is here. I know it's preseason, but for us fanatics who just breathe, live and die with this stuff, I'm super psyched for Friday night. Let's dive in and preview Week 1 versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Wow. So I definitely know that Kenny Pickett's definitely going to get a couple of series. Going to be curious to see how that goes. Let's put the ones in there for a couple of series. I want to at least see us get a good drive or two. Get a touchdown. A touchdown would be absolutely cool. I mean, just absolutely lit, you know. Even a couple of field goals would be nice. But I want to see a couple of good drives out of this offense and take them out, you know. And then we'll slide right into the 2s and then the 3s. But very curious to see how this offense is going to look under the Matt Canada regime. Though I know he's not going to show a whole lot of his hand. A lot of stuff's going to be vanilla. A lot of just basic run plays. Going to be curious to see how Naj looks. Fully healthy. You know, no lingering injuries that we know of at this point in time. Offensively speaking, with the skill weapons, I'm going to be curious to see how Darnell Washington phases in. He's the 4th-string tight end, which is kind of crazy to me, considering we got the Muth, we got Gentry, Hayward, and then I guess Washington's 4th. It's insane to me. Curious to see how he's going to play, or when he's going to play in this game. Looking forward to seeing Kenny Pickett and Deontay Johnson develop more chemistry. They weren't really on the same page a lot last year. I'm not going to lie. George Pickens and Kenny Pickett were, because those two... honestly, they worked with each other a lot because they were the 2s, the 3s last year in that training camp process. So those two have a lot more chemistry. But I'm gonna be curious to see, you know, can Kenny and Deontay get a couple of nice plays here Week 1. Defensively speaking, I don't really think the defense needs to be out there for a whole lot. I don't want to see TJ out there for more than maybe a couple of series. Same with Cam Hayward, Larry Ogunjobi. These dudes don't need to be out here for that long. They're veterans, the Minkas, the Patrick Petersons. Let them play a couple series. Let's just, let's play actually a game, get some good reps in. But I really don't want to see these dudes really in there a whole lot because I am curious to see these new players we drafted. I want to see Joey Porter Jr. in there. I want to see Keanu Benton playing in there. I want to see Nick Herbig, the Wisconsin outside linebacker, in there. I want to see how these younger players do. So hopefully we get to see a lot of these guys. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how they all play, as well as some younger year 2 players. You look at DeMarvin Leal from last year, 3rd-round pick. He's a tweener. I want to see where he's going to play, interior, outside. I'm curious to see how his role is going to be this year because I liked what I saw out of him in limited snaps last year. So really curious to see how that goes. You look at, Isaiah Loudermilk, a year 3 player who we traded up for a couple of years ago. Curious to see how he's going to look. It's nice to have these depth players, and I want to see how these young guns play. So for offensively, I want to see some good chemistry there. Let's get a good drive. Take out the starters. That includes Warren. Curious to see who that running back 3 is going to be. Is it McFarland? Who's it going to be? Then you look also at Calvin Austin III. There's many young players here we all can watch this Friday, and that's why I'm really looking forward to watching this game. Let's talk about the opponent we're going to be playing real quick. Baker Mayfield going to be playing probably a little bit, but I expect a lot of Kyle Trask. Mike Evans probably being there for a couple series, as well as Chris Godwin. The Buccaneers are pretty much sizzle it all out, so I'm not really too worried about them. And Levante David, Devin White will probably play, a little bit of Vita Vea as well. Shaq Barrett may play, I don't know. I thought he got hurt last year. But Antoine Winfield Jr., it'll be probably just like us. I'm sure they'll play their stars a couple series. It'll be curious. I'm just looking forward to seeing some one-on-ones, starters on starters type of competition. So we got a lot of young guns to watch this Friday, y'all. So let's just watch and see what happens. And that'll do it for the preview of this preseason game week number 1. So let's slide into the last couple of topics I wanted to touch on, just because it's some bad stuff, some crazy stuff. Let's touch on the whole Kendrick Green situation. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but it's been popping off big time out of training camp that Kendrick Green has been playing fullback since our fullback we took as an undrafted free agent retired. So we don't have an actual fullback, though we have Connor Hayward. He's a little bit of a flex type of player. Will he play there? I'm not sure because Kendrick Green has been playing fullback. They've been throwing we've been throwing to him in the flats. We've been actually, handing the ball off to him in short to goal situations like 3rd and shorts, 4th and shorts, etc., etc. Now let's think back to what we all thought of Kendrick Green as a player. All right, so we took him in the 2021 draft in the 3rd round, a guard out of Illinois. I want to say Illinois, if I'm not mistaken. And we put him at center, which he's never played center. Gave him the number 53 and said, "Here you go, kid. Best of luck to you." And the man absolutely got wrecked. He was a horrible center. Absolutely atrocious. Horrible pad level, no strength. So he was a starter in 2021 and was honestly pretty dreadful. So we ended up getting Mason Cole to replace him. And then Kendrick Green is really just a backup player at this point. And a lot of fans honestly just liked the guy. I don't know him personally, but the play on the field at times was honestly just terrible. Just awful. Just looked completely unaware of the situation. Just put your hands on someone, man. Do your job. but just couldn't move people at all. But now we're trying to expand and find him a role. Because before we got Mason Cole, I mean, he just didn't look too good. So now he's a backup guard, center, but not really, though, because we have Nick Herbig there and a couple other players, James Daniels and Isaac Seumalo, of course. So Kendrick Green, a fullback. Hey, man, if he can just, clear some lanes for the running backs or, get a couple of third and shorts and hold on to that football, I'm all for it. I mean, if because you're talking about if he blocks for screens or if he blocks, for running backs, I'm okay with him going at a linebacker or a secondary player. If he can't fucking block a secondary player, this dude need to go. So just wanted to add that in there. I think it's wild. We're putting a lineman in at fullback, but I've seen it done in the past, like Refrigerator William Perry. Pico for the Bengals used to do that as well. So I'm curious to see, how this going to, if they actually run this in the preseason, I think they actually might run this thing in the real games. So curious to see how that goes. And the last thing I wanted to touch on, unfortunately, our late 7th round draft pick, Corey Trice Jr. out of Purdue, a cornerback with great length, big physical corner, unfortunately got hurt and is going to miss the rest of the season. Not a huge blow, but definitely a blow that sucked because I wanted to see how this dude would develop as an outside cornerback, just to give us another tall dude, maybe another special teams player. But as we all know, he slid to the 7th round because of injury concerns, injury history. So it's a blow. It sucks. For some reason, man, we can never get corners. We can never get corners to the draft. It just never happens. So just want to touch on that. And it sucked. I honestly was curious to see how he could play in the preseason. I was hearing good things. Okay, I mean, him and Porter Jr., if Trice would develop into just a decent depth guy, I'd be cool with it. But unfortunately, he suffered a injury and is going to miss the rest of this year. So that sucks. But hey, injuries happen, and just gotta live with it and deal with it. So it is what it is. But I think that's gonna do it for me for episode 2 of the Blitzburgh Coverage Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode a lot more than the first one, as the first one I was kind of I feel like I was tense, a little bit serious. Let's just be outgoing, y'all. Let's just talk. And, football, I love football for sure. This is my thing. And hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm spreading everything to all the platforms now, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, as they call it now. I don't know why, but it's X now. Gonna get a TikTok. I'm on Spotify. I'm gonna listen to the other podcasts as well. Been having issues getting on Apple Podcasts, but go like the pages, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, and get back. What do y'all think? How do you guys feel about this upcoming game? How do you guys feel about the season? Let me know in the comments, and hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you're wherever you're listening from, podcast, whatever, hope you all like it. And yeah, boy, we'll be back. We're probably going to do one of these every week. Plan on doing it every Monday. So we can talk about the game and preview the upcoming game. And just, we're going to dive into this thing. So let's get this thing popping. It's August. And let's go, man. Super pumped. Hope you all like the video. And your boy is out. Deuces. We out.